My landlord tried to charge me for excess air usage, so I gave him exactly what he asked for. I rent a small, one-bedroom apartment in a very ordinary building. Nothing fancy, nothing luxurious, just a clean place in a decent area. The landlord, however, he is something else. His name is Harold, but everyone in the building calls him Rulebook, because if there is a rule, even an imaginary one, he will quote it to you. I once saw him tape a note on the front door that said, "No vibrations after 8 p.m. When someone asked what that meant, he said, "You know exactly what it means." No one knew what it meant. That's the kind of man we're dealing with. So when I got an email from Harold titled Utility Charges Adjustment, I already braced myself. But even I wasn't prepared for what came next. Inside the email was a PDF, a literal PDF with his own calculated formula for something he called excess air usage. I stared at the screen. Air? He claimed, and I'm quoting the PDF here, that I consumed a disproportionate amount of shared oxygen in the building's common circulation system. He said that because my apartment was on the end of the ventilation loop, I was benefiting from a higher intake of replenished air and therefore needed to pay an additional $27.50 per month. For air. Air. I reread it 3 times thinking maybe I misunderstood. Nope. He was serious. He even wrote, "Failure to remit payment may result in restricted airflow adjustments." I didn't know whether to laugh or call the police. I went downstairs to show my neighbor, Miss Lopez. She'd been in the building for 14 years and has seen everything. She looked at the PDF, sighed, and said, "Oh, good, he's inventing new nonsense again." Turns out Harold had tried similar things before. Charging a tenant $15 for excessive doormat friction. Charging another $12 because she smelled too strongly of perfume in the elevator. Charging someone else $20 for unregistered footsteps. Most people either ignored him or pushed back until he backed down. But the excess air usage charge annoyed me more than the others. Not because of the money, though, that it was stupid, but because of the principle. You're not charging me for water or electricity. You're charging me for existing. So I decided to handle it creatively. Before responding, I printed out the email and taped it to the wall next to my thermostat as inspiration. Then I drafted a reply. "Hi, Harold. Thank you for your notice. Before I remit payment, could you please provide a detailed breakdown of how my excess air usage was measured? Specifically, how much air I consumed, what the building-wide average is, the device used to measure my oxygen intake, the maintenance logs for said device, the date of calibration for said measurement tool. Thank you." I sent it and waited. 3 hours later, he replied with, "Please refer to attached system airflow projection report." Except the attachment was the same PDF. So I emailed again. "Harold, this appears to be the same document. It does not list any measurements, devices, or logs. Please resend the correct file." He didn't respond for 2 days. Then he sent a new PDF titled Airflow Utilization Table. It was a Word document exported as a PDF, and the table completely blank. Not a single number, just boxes. At this point, I realized something. He had absolutely no idea what he was talking about, and he was hoping I would cave before asking too many questions. So I escalated. "Harold, I will need the data requested to assess the validity of this charge. If you are unable to provide documentation, I will be submitting this incident to the tenant board for review. As you know, fabricated utility fees violate Section 12-1 of the Residential Tenancies Act." This was a bluff. I had no idea what Section 12-1 was about, but it sounded real. He responded within 17 minutes. "Please disregard previous notice, charge withdrawn." But I wasn't done, because I didn't like that he even tried to pull something like this. I wanted this foolishness on record, so I emailed again. "Thank you for withdrawing the charge. For my records, please provide written confirmation that no tenant in the building will be charged for air usage now or in the future. He replied, "This is an unreasonable request." I replied, "Either that or I file the complaint. Your decision." He didn't email back right away. He didn't email back that night, but the next morning, taped to every door in the hallway was a printed notice. Air is a free resource. Tenants will not be charged for air usage. Please ignore prior communication. Management. Every tenant saw it. Ms. Lopez laughed so hard she teared up. Someone took a picture and posted it on the local community Facebook group. It went mildly viral. People were commenting, "Is your landlord an airbender? Charging rent for oxygen is wild. Next, he's going to bill you for opening your eyes." Harold took the paper down within an hour. But the damage was done. The residents now knew he was ridiculous, officially, publicly, and permanently. And as a bonus, a week later, the building owner visited. He rarely comes by. But apparently someone forwarded him the Facebook thread. I only know this because Mrs. Lopez overheard them arguing in the lobby. The owner said the words, "You cannot bill people for air. Harold, what's wrong with you?" Harold hasn't bothered me since. In fact, he avoids me completely. If he sees me coming, he pretends to be checking his phone. If I say hello, he panics and nods aggressively. We haven't had a single made-up fee in months. And best of all, air is officially free again, at least on this street.